Alright, let's have a look at the rainwater head here. We've got basically an offset squared around 1.6 millimeter copper. Internal radius of bend should be 1.6. That's about all there is to that one. So I'm going to go over to Inventor and I'm going to do a new sheet metal millimeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a sort of a side view of this so I can get my planes in the right place. Yeah, so it shouldn't be too hard. So I've got offset of 50 there, and just remember all dimensions outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a sketch, and I'm going to just draw a construction line. This is going to be centralized to the origin point there, and let's have a little grab of it, see what's going on. So there's one dimension needed, the length. So the length there is 600. Then if you look at the drawing, that's going to be this line here, 600. So if we go out 50 and up 364, then come off on a 20-degree angle, we can make a plane for the base of this spigot here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a line in and then I'll measure it up. So here's 20 degrees, so I can just do 20 off here. It starts 50 mil outside, so I'll do 50 mil from the edge of that. And double check, comes up 364. So go back to Inventor. So there's where our two planes are going to be for the transition. Another thing I should do is I should just go back in there, go edit, and I'll just draw in a line across here for the actual spigot itself at the top. So I'll make that vertical to the side and check the measurement. So that's going to be the top of this whole thing. So 364 plus 236, not counting the flange. So 364 plus 236 is 600. Sounds good. Do 600 from there to here. Also, have a quick look. It's 100 OD, so I'm just going to mention that line, so why not? So there it is there. So finish that sketch. Now, this one, the bottom here, I can just draw a sketch on there. New sketch on the bottom plane. I'll come down and do a center point rectangle. 2-point center, so center is that origin. And it is 600 by 200. So there's our base, right there. Now what I want to do is I want to do an offset plane. I want to add plane around an angle. So I'll go down here to angle to plane around edge. I will do that edge and I'll just bring up that plane 90 degrees. Yep. So now we've got that plane there. And I'll do the same thing here. So I'll go angle to plane around edge, that edge, and that plane. So what I might also do here, just to make life a bit easier for myself, is I might just go into that original sketch, and I'm just going to turn construction line on again, and I'm just going to put a line down from this one straight down till it touches this one. Oh, actually, I'll go past it, and then I'll trim it back. So that'll just make it a little bit easier. I'll be able to put a point on here and figure out this ellipse a lot easier. So I'll start a sketch up on this one, and I'll just rotate a little bit. What I'll do is I will project the geometry of these points, and I'll do a circle out to the side. It's going to be in the middle, so it should be 50. Diameter should be 100. And there we go. So we've got the top circle. So I'll just get out of that view, and I'll turn this plane off to make it a bit easier. And now I'll do a sketch on this plane. So I'll start a sketch on here, and I'm just going to rotate it out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. And I will just project some geometry here. So I'll project that point and that point. I'll come to my ellipse, and I need to pick the middle point between those two. So I'm just going to guess it for now. And go out, out. I'll dimension that to between these two. So I'll go here to here. And actually what I'll do first is I will come point to point. Except anyway, so it's in brackets, so it means it's a kind of means it's an unnecessary dimension, but I'm going to use it. So I'm going to go dimension here to here. If I put this out to the side, I can say equals that number divided by 2. That'll find me the nice center point. And the other dimension I need is the minor axis of the ellipse. So we know it's 100 mm diameter, so that should be 50. And it's saying one dimension needed, so I'll just grab it and see if I can move it around. And yeah, so it's not 100% sure where it belongs yet. So depending what orientation I have it in, it might be horizontal or vertical. So I'll try horizontal, and yep, that worked out well. So we've got the bottom of the spigot. Now I'm just going to turn that plane off to make it a bit easier to see what's going on. And what else am I going to do? I'm going to, no, I'll keep it like that for now. So material's 1.6mm copper, it says. So let's untick this and we'll go 1.6. And up here, or in here, we'll go in here. We can go to the properties and physical. We can change the material to copper. So it'll come through nice and ready looking. And I will save this file as I'll call it the skeleton of this one. So what are we working on here? Rainwater head. Save that there. Right, so I will do the base part first. go to lofted flange, and here to here. So we're talking about outside measurements here. So I'll make sure it's going to the outside. So I'll make sure it's going to the inside of what I've drawn. Sorry. So I'll swap that around. So it's going to the inside, and we've got like a press brake form, which is just fine for what we're doing here. And I'll go OK, and you can see we've got a very red looking transition. Right, so something that is a little bit tricky is now I've got to do some flanges. So what I want to know is the angle. So I'm going to click on that face and that bit. And we've got an angle of 36.05. So now I'll go back to sheet metal. I'll do a flange and grab that inside edge. And it's 50 mil high. I believe, yes, that looks right. 50. And the angle here. So we had 36.05, so we're going to have to do 90 minus 36.05. I'll just calculate that quickly. It's 53.95, so let's put that in there. And you can see that's gone straight up and down. There is probably an easier way to do that. It's just the only way I know of at the moment. Which is quite frustrating, but it works. Now I'll find the angle this side. So let's just go back to inspect here, measure that face and that side. So now we've got 97.82. So I'll go back over to sheet metal, flange, click on the inside one, and we'll go 97.82 minus 90, so 7.82 degrees, depending where it's coming from. Let's have a look now. That's not right, is it? So is that a minus 7? So yeah, minus 7.82. There we go. Now the last couple bits we need to do on here, or a little bit towards the end. So we need 2 more flanges. One there, one there. Let's just go to a view that makes it easier to see what's going on. And again, we have an angle, so I should have measured that. Let's go back and measure it. So the angle we've got here is 7.45 degrees. So I'll come back to flange. And I should better do both at once. .45, and you can see that's gone nice and straight, so that's good, that's what we want. So got the main body pattern here. Now what I'm going to do is decide where I want my seam. So I think I want my seam, I want 2 identical sides. So what I might just do here is I will go and turn off a few things, make it easier to see. I'm going to just go round here and rotate it around, just having a wee think about what to do. So I'm going to just cut all the way through this entire thing. So how I'm going to do that, I'm going to start a sketch on the plane that goes across it, this one. I'm going to right click and slice the graphics. I'm just going to draw a rectangle from the origin, nice and big. I'm not going to bother measuring it. Oops, I meant to say 1000. And I only want it to be 0.1 wide, so let's go 0.1. And I'll finish that sketch there. Now what I'll do is I'll cut both ways through everything, and it should have picked up on this line here, so it should cut the whole lot in half. So there's a line down the middle, yep, and a line down all the way down the middle of that one too. Now hopefully with some luck, we go to create flat pattern, it'll work for us. And there you go, so there's the half pattern. So obviously the other half is going to be a mirror of that. So let's minimize everything here, and I will save this as the transition. So I'll close out of this, and I'll reopen my skeleton. Now I'm going to do that top spigot, so I'm just going to go lofted flange, and zoom in a wee bit. So I want it to be nice and rounded because it's something we're going to roll. And these are outside measurements, so I'll make sure it's going to the inside of the line I've drawn. Go OK. Now I'm just going to turn a bunch of stuff off because I don't really need it on. Let's make it easier for me to see everything. Now what I need to do is I need a point. So I'll see if it will pick up on this point anyway. So that one there. And let's just have a quick look and make sure it's in the right spot. Bang along the middle. So it's already sort of deciding it wants to cut it down there anyway. So let's go to rip. Grab that and that point there, which is good. It's working the way we want. And I'm just going to put 0.1. Then I'm going to turn off the work plane, anything I don't really want to see. And go to create flat pattern. And it looks really good to me. I'll go back to folded part. And I'm going to save this as the spigot. Now the last thing I've got to do is just join them together for an assembly view. So I'll do a new assembly file. I will place, and first of all I'll place the base on there, or the transition. Just drop it in there. And I'm just going to change the view so I can see what I'm doing a bit easier. I'm going to change that to shaded with edges. Now I will expand the origins, and I can strain the origins together. And I'm just going to do them all flush so they will match. So now we have the transition is constrained to the origin here. So I can't move it. You see I click on it and I can't drag it anywhere. I can pan around it though. And I'm just going to have a quick check what my home view is. So that's not really what I want to see as a home view. I want it to be in the same position as the Competenz drawing. So I'll click on that corner there, and I'll right click and say set current view as home, fit to view. Now I'm going to place the spigot in there as well. Just drop it in. And expand here so we can get the origin points of it. And same thing again. YZ to YZ flush. XZ to XZ flush. XY to XY flush. Close out of there. Now we have the whole thing assembled. Have a look around there. Yep, looks pretty good to me. I'll just make sure the views are making sense. Top, yep, that's fine with me. Front, awesome. So no problems at all. Double click on this bit and just check the flat pattern again. Yep, I'm happy with that. Cool. Right, so I'll save that assembly. I'll just collapse everything here to make it a bit nicer to look at. And I'll save that as the rain water head. Whoops, I accidentally saved it in the part. See how it's two tabs are open? So I'm just going to close that one and I will save this one as the rainwater head. And you see all the lines are gone and there you have it.